Raider Nation, what's going on? You guys are watching the Raiders Report. Mitchell Renz is chilling at my own house. The reason why I'm coming at you guys from here is because we have some breaking news. The Las Vegas Raiders, they've gone out and hired defensive coordinator Patrick Graham from the New York Jets. Now, if you guys watch the show today, I talk about Graham quite a bit in terms of how the Raiders had some interest in him and how they were going to try to pry him away from the New York Giants. Now, a lot of people were asking me, well, can they even go out and make this move because he was a member of the Giants? The answer to that is yes. Why? Because the Giants gave Graham the okay to go ahead and interview for two other head coaching jobs that he did unfortunately not get. Now, this, in terms of the Raiders, is personally a very good move. Now, one of the things that we're going to be talking about here on today's show is just some of his past work. One of the reasons why I really do enjoy the move, and even more stuff going on with Josh McDaniels and then also Gus BRadley. But I get it. I'm not at the studio. We've had Snowmageddon down here in Dallas. If you guys haven't noticed, I mean, we've been dealing with some crazy weather, but we give you guys content here at the Raiders Report. So if you're looking for news, if you're looking for rumors, I got you covered here. So if you want to hit that sub button, if you want to turn on those notifications, that way you don't miss a thing, because I don't want you to be the guy who's chilling at home yesterday. You're like, man, I hope the Raiders go and hire Gus BRadley or bring him back. I'm going to be like, dude, you are way off. That's what my job is here. So now what we're going to be talking about is why, one of the reasons why I actually like this move. When you talk about a lot of the interest from some of these coaches, one of the biggest things that Josh McDaniels said he was going to do, and McDaniels deserves a lot of credit, is finding not only good coaches, but also guys who are able to teach. So you're talking about a dude who was a graduate from Wagner. He's been very decorated in terms of where he's been coaching in the past, and at the end of the day, this is a really good hire for the Raiders. So what I want you guys to do, go down to the comments. That's what the Raiders Report is all about. It's about interacting with each other, and I want you to grade the hire of Patrick Graham. A, you absolutely loved it. B, it was a good hire. C, it was like, D, it was bad. F, it's an absolute fail. For me personally, I'm going to go ahead and give this an A grade. I mean, more and more. I get it. I was one of the very first people who was like, I do not want Josh McDaniels. I do not know if he's going to be able to be a leader of men, something that Rich Bisaccia was able to do so well. But now the fact that you go out, you get somebody who is probably one of the top 5 defensive coordinators in the National Football League. He's a young guy. He's 42, 43 years old. And one of the things that he's always been able to do is connect with players. If McDaniels could admit anything, he's admitted multiple times that his first head coaching stint, basically 10 years ago with the Denver Broncos, he struggled connecting with players. You go out and get an assistant GM like Champ Kelly, who has done nothing but connect with guys in Chicago. Khalil Mack can't speak highly enough about him. Dave Ziegler, he promised us that he was going to be able to build a very good all-around staff. I have the utmost respect for Gus BRadley, but Patrick Graham, I would take every single day of the week and twice on Sundays over BRadley. Why? Because Graham does one thing really well. He mixes it up, and he's not afraid to change up his defensive scheme. So last season, okay, for example, he used a lot of 3-4 base. The fact now that Graham, who did a 3-4 base style of defense, that's going to be really interesting to see how it impacts some of these guys. For those of you that don't know what a 3-4 base is, it means you have 3 guys on the defensive line. So think of Max Crosby, Yannick Ngakoue, defensive tackle. Now I really honestly believe that the Raiders could go out and get a big guy like a Jordan Davis in the draft out of Georgia. The defensive tackle position is now even more important because you have 5 DTs that are free agents. Solomon Thomas, Gerald McCoy, Jonathan Hankins, Quentin Jefferson, Darius Philon. Those guys are all free agents. Now the Raiders got to bring a big dude in. He mixes in 1 high, 2 high safety alignments, which I do like. I know Merrick did a really good job this past year playing a lot of cover 3, which is more of a center field type of role for a safety, but now you have an opportunity to go out and get another safety, which I will admit that's bad news for somebody like Jonathan Abram, who is basically really struggled trying to cover. Maybe the Raiders try to convert him into a linebacker, but nonetheless, I do like the different looks. And then you also have cover 1, cover 3, cover 4, and you're going to really lean on a lot of nickel and dime packages. Now, the Raiders need to be able to go out and get another cornerback. The fact that Gus BRadley has accepted a job to go to the Indianapolis Colts, that basically tells me a guy like Casey Hayward, who, man, I respect the hell out of that guy for everything he did for this football team, but he's more than likely not going to be coming back. One of the dudes that you should definitely keep an eye on, and I mean very, very closely, is J.C. Jackson, Stephon Gilmore, Darius Williams is an interesting name, Carlton Davis is another cornerback to keep an eye on, and then there's been a lot of trade rumors around James Bradberry, who's the star cornerback of the New York Giants. He's going to be another dude that I want you guys to definitely keep an eye on. Now, the Raiders Report is all about the interaction. We're all about trying to give you guys the content that not a lot of other channels will do. So I know I've been asking this a lot, but what's your attempt now, or what do you think about the whole Josh McDaniels hiring? Like, he's been able to bring in some good pieces. I want you now to go down to the comments, and I want you to scale that from 0 to 100. 0 being you still hate him. It was still a horrible hire, Mitch. I don't know what you're talking about. 100, it was a really good move, and now you're starting to see it go the right way. Originally, I came on here and I said I'm somewhere around a 75 grade when they originally hired him. Then you went out and got Champ Kelly. Now you go out and get Patrick Graham. Patrick Graham's a big-time hire. With this staff that the Raiders are putting together, I'm right now somewhere around an 85, 90. I still want to see what they go out and do at the offensive coordinator position. I know the Raiders haven't announced that they moved on from Tom Cable. They haven't announced that they moved on from Greg Olsen. But both of those guys have been removed from the official website. And the Raiders never made an official statement either about Gus BRadley. And now he's, the defensive coordinator for the Indianapolis Colts. Now, I know a lot of people, when we do videos like this, are like, all right, well, tell me a little bit more about Patrick Graham, or why should I be excited? Because you seem excited. Well, here you go. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to run through every single thing that he's done as terms of a head coach, or not head coach, in terms of a coach overall, and then some of his other past successions as well. So he was with the New York Giants from 2020 to present as assistant head coach and defensive coordinator. He was with the Miami Dolphins in 2019 as a DC. He was a linebackers and running game coordinator with the Green Bay Packers in 2018. The New York Giants defensive line coach in 2016 to 2017. He was with the Patriots, so there's some bit of a connection there with Josh McDaniels as a linebackers coach from 2014 to 2015. The New England Patriots defensive line coach from 2012 to 2013. The New England Patriots linebackers coach from 2011. A defensive assistant with the Patriots in 2010. Patriots coaching assistant in 2009. He then was with Toledo, Holy Toledo in 2009. Notre Dame grad assistant from 2007 to 2008. Richmond tight ends coach from 2005 to 2006. Richmond's defensive line coach in 2004. And then he was a grad assistant at Wagner from 2002 to 2003. All I'm saying is this: the fact that he is only 43 years old, just turned 43, birthday's on January 24th, and has that amount of coaching experience is something that I am very excited to see, because yes, this is a young Raiders team, and with 26 free agents, you're going to have to be a good teacher, and that's exactly what Patrick Graham is. He is one hell of a teacher, and this is an absolutely awesome hire by the Raiders. In fact, for those of you that don't know a lot about me, I'm kind of near the East Coast, and I got a lot of my family. They're actually big-time Giant fans, and one of my buddies who I work with, Marshall Green, shout out to him, he messaged me, and he's like, dude, this is a really good get for the Raiders, and man, I could not be even more excited. I know that I liked Sean Desai, who the Raiders brought in for a interview of 2 days ago at this point, and I'll always respect Bradley for turning around this defense. But Patrick Graham and what the Giants were able to accomplish last season, I mean, you can say what you want about the Giants. They had a hell of a defense, and it's because of really solid coaching. They had some good players as well. Now, Gus BRadley, he decided to take the defensive coordinator job for the Indianapolis Colts, and that's fine. I will say I thought he did a pretty solid job in terms of overall taking arguably the worst Raiders defense in the history, where they gave up 6,200 total yards in 16 games in 2020. Sure, the Raiders ranked 26th in points per game allowed, but I still think I'm going to put a lot of that blame on the offense not being able to sustain drives. So what you have now is Graham, who has done a phenomenal job with that Giants defense from top to bottom, and it is going to be very interesting to see how the Raiders are going to be able to adjust, because usually they go with that 4-3 style, and how they're potentially going to convert over to a 3-4. Josh McDaniels said at his press conference that this defense is built more for a 4-3, so I'm definitely curious to see how aggressive the Raiders get. As it stands right now, they have $31.7 million in cap space. That sits somewhere around middle of the pack. I still anticipate them getting some money from the whole Henry Ruggs situation. I anticipate them that they're going to get some money from the whole Damon Arnett situation as well, because conduct detrimental to the team. But the reason why I want to be able to make you guys this video is because I really truly believe that our channel does a lot of great things. We try to keep you guys up to date. It doesn't matter if I'm sitting at home, enjoying a glass of wine with my girlfriend Alex and our dog Chuck, if I see breaking news, I'm going to give it to you guys the way that I think you guys want it. And I know, that's what she said. So if you haven't already, you guys can always hit me up on Twitter. You can always hit me up on Facebook, Instagram as well. In fact, I'm going to be doing an Instagram live tomorrow, 10 p.m. Eastern Time, 7 p.m. Pacific. You guys can ask me more questions about some of the stuff that you saw today, or some of the other stuff that we've talked about throughout the week on, the Raiders Report. So again, I wanted to give you guys this breaking news of the Las Vegas Raiders. They went out and they hired former Giants defensive coordinator Patrick Graham. He's had a lot of really good experience. The connections with Josh McDaniels continue to grow. So as it stands right now, the Raiders coaching staff is as follows. The head coach is Josh McDaniels. The general manager is Dave Ziegler. The assistant head coach is Champ Kelly. And I'm talking about the newer additions or guys who have been confirmed. Edgar Bennett, he's going to be staying as the wide receiver coach. And now you have Patrick Graham as the defensive coordinator. Some of the stuff that you guys can stay, looking on the out for, I don't know if that's the right way to say it, is who's going to be the next Raiders offensive coordinator. The fact that the Raiders went out and they interviewed a candidate today whose name has escaped me. He was the old tight ends coach for the Cincinnati Bengals. You know that Josh McDaniels likes to run a lot of two tight end sets, right? So he used to run the bunch with Rob Gronkowski, Aaron Hernandez, and then even back before, when you look at a lot of these other great Patriots offenses, it was built on having intermediate routes with a good slot receiver, Hunter Renfrow, who couldn't speak enough about how much he's excited to be able to get to work with Derek Carr, with McDaniels in that offense because of the amount of success that a lot of those slot receivers have had with McDaniels. Wes Welker, Julian Edelman, Danny Amendola's had some good runs himself, and I've actually been told I look like both of those guys a few too many times. But then on top of that, the two tight end set. So he's a young guy from Cincinnati. He's only like 34 years old. Definitely a guy to keep in mind. And if I have the opportunity to go into the studio, I will go ahead and do so. But the amount of ice, it's like 20 degrees in Dallas, and I love Pennsylvania, and I'll always respect the way that those guys handle the snow, but Texas just simply isn't built for that. So at the end of the day, guys, if something else happens, I will go ahead and break it down. But before I go, I want everyone to enjoy their weekend, and if you could go ahead and give me your one-word reaction to the Patrick Graham move. My word is trust, because I'm starting to build my trust with what Josh McDaniels, with what Dave Ziegler have been able to do, and hopefully the train keeps on rolling, because I said it before, if you don't win 10 games, it's not going to be very good. And I don't know if you guys can hear Chuck, he's whining a little bit. He's like, hey man, why am I not getting any camera time? I'm going to go hang out with Chuck. Remember, Instagram tomorrow, 10 p.m. Eastern Time, 7 p.m. Pacific. Enjoy the rest of your day. Patrick Graham is the new defensive coordinator of the Las Vegas Raiders.